Let me start by saying thank you to the media for being here to cover what we believe is a very important meeting that we've had here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. This afternoon, the different law enforcement leaders here in this community, as well as members from the African American clergy here in Orange County, have met, and we've had a spirited discussion about our community and what we can collectively do together to keep our community safe. You're going to hear from four speakers. In addition to myself, you're going to hear from Chief John Mina of the Orlando Police Department. In addition, you're going to hear from the Vice President of the African American Council of Christian Clergy, Bishop Wiggins, and also the President-elect of the AACCC, and that is Bishop Kevin Cabarrus. Members of the Orange County Sheriff's Office and I are saddened by the recent attacks of police officers in Dallas. We offer our condolences and our prayers to the families and colleagues of the Dallas police officers. I am also very much aware of the officer-involved shooting in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and also the incident in St. Paul, Minnesota. These shootings are being investigated, and I hope and believe there will be appropriate outcomes in both cases. Those outcomes are certainly going to possibly have some impact on those of us here in Central Florida. Several of our clergy members contacted me out of concern for the well-being of our community. Recently, we've seen our own tragedies in Central Florida, and we know firsthand the impact of the needless violence. Less than 1 month ago, the worst mass shooting in the history of this nation took place right here in Orlando at the Pulse nightclub. 49 members of our community lost their lives, and 53 more were injured. So we certainly can sympathize and empathize with what is going on in Dallas today. Due to the broad media coverage, we know that this is of great interest in our community concerning police-community relations. Perhaps you would agree with me that there's simply too much violence. The founders of this nation understood the importance of a citizen's right to peacefully assemble. It is something that everyone has a right to do. We're standing in solidarity today in this community saying that we support people who will peacefully demonstrate, but we stand against those who will take the law and matters into their own hands. It appears this is what was taking place in Dallas as hundreds of people were peacefully protesting when snipers fired at law enforcement officers who were there to protect them so that they could exercise their First Amendment rights. All of us on this stage condemn the senseless, needless act of violence and encourage any citizen who has knowledge of someone in our area with criminal and violent intentions to notify law enforcement or call Crime Line to report that information. I have personally directed my deputy sheriffs to have a heightened sense of awareness as we navigate through this difficult period. I want the people of Orange County to know that we will continue to protect the rights of every citizen. Our deputies are deeply committed to providing excellent service and reducing crime and the fear of crime or victimization in our community. The motto here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office is making a difference. We intend to continue making a positive difference in the lives of our citizens. The chiefs and I are committed to holding our personnel accountable. We're also committed to ensuring that there is transparency in investigations involving allegations of misconduct by our personnel. You have that commitment from us in this community. We stand with all Americans who denounce this type of vigilantism and support the police who have the difficult task of protecting the streets of our homeland. This is why we're here today. At this time, I'm going to ask Chief Mena to speak. He will be followed by Bishop Wiggins and then Bishop Cabarrus. Chief Mena.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. And let me just say that the Orlando Police Department also shares its thoughts and prayers with the Dallas Police Department, as well as the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Authority Police. Our condolences are out to them. I actually reached out to Chief Brown this morning as well. Even before that incident, I asked my officers to please be aware, be safe, be on high alert, because we know that during times like these, emotions are very high. But I was very clear to them, not only do they need to be safe and be aware of their surroundings and have proper backup, but they also do need to remain professional at all times and realize that people are wanting to voice their opinions. And it's our responsibility as police officers to keep people safe and let them protest and let them have their First Amendment right, freedom of speech. I will also say I want to thank the African American clergy for standing with us. And we met earlier, and it was very nice because they all said thank you to law enforcement. They know we have a tough job, and they all applauded our officers and our efforts. So I want to thank them for that as well and their support. And what I vow to them is the continued transparency and accountability from our agency, and we will continue that. And I think if we learn one thing from the tragedy here in Orlando at Pulse, we know this: there is just one side, and we are Orlando United. So thank you. Bishop Wiggins.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Sheriff. Let me just say to the awaiting audience, Orlando is still mourning, and to now have the tragedies that have taken place in Dallas, we mourn with, yes, the officers, but we are also mourning with the families in Minnesota, families in Baton Rouge. It is imperative that we, as Americans, we understand that it's so important for us to have a balance, that there must be a respect of authority, police officers and law enforcement, but just as Chief or Sheriff just mentioned, there must be also professional and respect among police and law enforcement officers to people. If I could say just a few words, because I believe it's so necessary for those vigilantes and those who would act outside of character. I want to call the community to what we know to do best is to be prayerful. But also, we must be peaceful. But I need everybody to know we must be watchful. There must be accountability, not only in law enforcement, among law enforcement, and extended to other law enforcement officers, but there must be accountability among people. The only way we're going to be good neighbors is if we learn how to hold each other accountable. So I'm asking for the nation, I'm asking for Orlando to be prayerful. I'm asking for us to be peaceful And I'm asking us all to be watchful. Thank you.
We stand again this afternoon grateful to our sheriff and chief men who have collectively called together the clergy of this community, African American clergy, along with the leaders of the municipalities of Orange County. I came out of the meeting room proud, simply because in that meeting room our leaders, our sheriffs and our chiefs reassured us that they will stand with us as we stand with them to protect and to serve our community. As law enforcement have the responsibility to protect and serve the community, we as pastors have the responsibility to enforce God's law and protect the people of God and the people of our community. And today collectively we have made a solidarity and united front to say that together, united, we will stand Orlando strong, and divided we know that we will fall, so we prefer to unite. And we leave today with this confidence that things will be well here in Orlando. And while our nation is experiencing darkness and crisis, as we have already experienced and are continuing to experience each day, we know that to rebuild and to move forward takes a general consensus collectively of the community coming together as one. And I urge you as a clergyman, and on behalf of all these other pastors that stand behind me, I want you that even while we feel our emotions and our anger and our mixed emotions, as the man of God just stated, let us be at peace with one another. Let us allow law enforcement to do their jobs, and we as the people are going to do our jobs. And that's upholding our character and our standards within the community. And both of us, the agencies of the law enforcement and the community, will be held accountable for our actions. So I want to encourage each and every one of you in Orlando today, be at peace. Continue to pray. Continue to stand on what we know is the Word of God. And we're going to move forward with a proactive plan to make sure that we can improve the relationship between the community and law enforcement in our city. Thank you.
Since we have all the clergy here, I think it's appropriate to say amen. At this point, what we'll do is take a few questions if there are any questions from those of you in the meeting.
Sheriff, are you going to be changing any procedures when it comes to your deputies being out patrolling? Are they going to be in groups patrolling for protection or anything along those lines?
We are going to patrol as we normally would patrol. There are no indications at this point in our community that there's going to be any type of civil unrest. In fact, the reason why we're here is to ensure that that does not happen here in this community.
You spoke quickly about a proactive plan to improve community and race relations. What would that entail?
What we had a commitment to do from those of us who met for about an hour today is that we will come back together. You have heard about a violent crime reduction initiative that we have underway in this community. We, as a community, have been a little distracted in the last couple of weeks, but we're going to refocus ourselves and have some various subcommittees who are going to work to develop some long-term solutions so that we can redirect some of the violent behavior, if you will, of our youth in this community. The violence that you see is mostly indicative of individuals who fall in the age group of 18 to 29 years old. And so we're going to focus in that area to develop some positive alternatives for that hardcore group who's been involved in some of the things that you've seen occur recently.
Has the Sheriff's Office had any threats made against it? I know there were some comments made earlier about other law enforcement agencies that have experienced some threats to agents.
What we have recently seen is several incidents where local law enforcement agencies have received some bomb threats, if you will, to our agencies. Obviously, none of them were authentic threats, but that is something that has occurred. Individuals who do that, of course, if we determine who they are, we're going to hold them accountable for their actions as well.
Recently, meaning today, or?
Within yesterday, day before.
Do you know what agencies received those?
I know the Orange County Sheriff's Office received at least one. I believe the Orlando Police Department. No, Winter Park Police Department. So, okay. Thank you all again for being here.